This is Pamela. We are down still here in Felicity, journeying and just enjoying the view. Very scenic, I must say. And it's my first time venturing. I am now at the Lacancaria cremation site. It's my first time down on this area. And I am sitting here with Mr. Manohar Gulcharan. He, of course, is an oyster harvester. That's his livelihood. And he's going to tell us about how he got involved in oyster, and I mean, it's something I believe he started with his family. Welcome, Mr. Gulcharan, and good morning. How you got involved in oysters, and what encouraged you to get involved in oysters? I mean, that is what you do for a living now, yeah?
Yes, we do that for a living for a long while. We grew up together with that.
How did you get involved in oysters, collecting oysters and so on? Is it something you did with your father? What?
Yeah, with my father. Yeah, from small.
And how many years now you've been doing that?
Almost about 20 years. Yeah.
All right, and we are sitting. This is, of course, the part of the Caroni Swamp. And this is one of the areas. There are a lot of boats parked, as we can see from actually at one of the sheds where they have all the prayers and the hawan and so on, of course, for the cremations. There are a lot of boats, as I said, parked up. And what would you say, oyster is a big business in Felicity, is it not?
Yes, it's a big business.
Okay. And tell us, which areas would you go to catch the oyster and so on? I mean, because, of course, if you have to get oysters, it's a very tedious job.
Yeah, you have zone area and you have on-zone area. The on-zone area we just go. The zone area we can't go. The boat.
And what's the procedure? Because I'm sure for a lot of people who are listening, oysters, where is it found and what's the process of collecting oysters, Mr. Gulcharan? What would you say? For somebody like me, I have never gone to receive in the roots, in mangrove roots. That's where you find oysters. And when those oysters are collected, Mr. Gulcharan, you would, of course, go out with your boat, you bring it back to shore. And what happens when you get back on shore here? What happens to the oyster? How do you market or how do you sell the oysters? What's the process?
No, we sell it by the bucket. Like almost 100 a bucket. Yeah.
So you sell more wholesale?
Yeah, most wholesale.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of storage, how are you going to store it there to keep it fresh from spoiling and that kind of thing?
No, we every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
So as soon
Fresh.
as you
Yeah.
catch yourself?
Sell one time.
Okay. Every day you guarantee to catch a good amount or?
Huh?
Every day you catch?
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
All right, and what would you say, Mr. Gulcharan, maybe would be your biggest challenge? Do you sometimes have to go out in the water and you don't get as much oyster, or is that you don't encounter that problem at all?
No, sometimes you just go out and you just get, sometimes you just get. Like the whole river, I had to clean it out, you can't get oysters again in it. Yeah. It's already tide low there you get, and if tide full you can't get.
And is there a particular time of the day when you find there's high tide or when there's low tide, or does it vary and so on?
No, we just go for the tide. When tide low, we go for oysters. When tide full, we can't get.
But is there a particular time of the day that you might find tides high and tides low and so on?
No. Like sometimes you have morning tide, sometimes you have late tide. Like no, it's late tide. Yeah, so it's high tide is dry.
The oyster business is very big in Felicity, and there are a lot of oyster harvesters in the area. And even recently, there were some issues of persons being held, I believe, because Mr. Gulcharan mentioned having the zoned and unzoned areas. The zoned areas, of course, would be protected parts of the Caroni Swamp, and then you have the unprotected areas. Remember, we had the moratorium as well coming in, so persons were actually passing through the area, and they were seen by forestry officers. And, there was an issue. So there are some challenges in terms of collecting the oysters. So you have to be very clear as to which area you're going to collect. Make sure that it's not a protected area or it's not under the moratorium as we have it now. You know, so oyster, and I'm sure a good few of our listeners have had a lovely oyster with that lovely sauce, you know, they make with the ketchup and the pepper sauce and the shadow benny. What, and you know you could have it either slight, medium, or heavy, just like doubles. You know, so I want to thank Mr. Gulcharan for talking to us a little about the oyster industry in Felicity. And it is a thriving business. It has grown, of course, over the years. And remember, as we continue through Felicity, we're going to bring you the final capsule in just a bit.